Right now, there's an AI agent that you can build, ChatGPT, that you will train and how you run adverts, okay? Whether you're using custom tools, how the advert is going to look like, how the caption should look like, how the images should look like, how the video sensitivity should look like, when the advert should be optimized. And then, if sales start to trickle in, how should you optimize it for more sales? They say that a messy prompt will give you a messy output. What we should understand is AI has always been in existence. It's now that it's talking market to us that we're paying attention. Alexa has always been in existence. Our smartphones are built on AI mathematical models, but we speak to them as though we are speaking to a friend. There are companies that are hiring AI engineers or prompt engineers. You don't need a degree. You just need to know your stuff. Rwanda is the other day signed a contract with OpenAI and TikTok as well to allow their creators use these premium tools at a no cost. TikTok and Rwanda have signed an agreement for their creators to earn. The president says, come into the country, what are you doing? I like this, make it happen.
Personally, I'm a converted, like I was telling you earlier. In my 9 to 5, we use AI, at least in all the tools and software we apply. We're such a lean team, but the amount of work we do, people can't believe it.
You've had cases where accounts are hacked and someone no longer has ownership. That's because you shared your information on these platforms. You have a MacBook, cover your mic, cover your camera.
Yes.
Someone on the other side is installing remote access trojans or rats in your PC. Even the people that I teach or work with, I tell them WhatsApp is not safe. They don't believe me until you've had cases where accounts are hacked and someone no longer has ownership. That's because you shared your information on these platforms.
So I hope every page here can get one thing that can help us achieve a middle class economy by using AI. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome yet to another episode of the podcast on Uganda. Today's segment is a segment on sectors where we bring you amazing think and do leaders who are changing the landscapes in which they operate just to help us achieve a middle class economy. Now, our guest today, he needs no introduction. If you're in the corporate space, he helps companies, he helps entrepreneurs, help them scale and grow their businesses using AI. Now, if you're in the room, you know that everybody's talking about AI in conferences, on TV, on radio. AI is a thing, but how are we using it to help us build our economy as Uganda? And today I would like to introduce to you an angel investor. He's investing in those businesses who are creating, innovating, solutioning around AI. And he's here today to help us demystify what it means and also help us use it to practically. You know, some people say things that it's really far away from you, but he's here today to help us understand the concept. Welcome to the podcast, Isaac Odongo Sr.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling?
I'm excellent today.
I asked him, where did you get the sir from? Were you knighted by the king? By the king?
Not yet.
It's an ambition.
Yeah.
And a vision.
They say you dream it first.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so tell us, what are you talking about as an angel investor? What are the kind of innovations you're seeing around AI? Because you're an innovator yourself in the space, but bring it down to Uganda. What are we looking at? What's the landscape like today?
So we are in an unfortunate position that majority of the things that come to us have existed for 5, even 10 years before. And so what I mean to say is that I'll give the example of COVID. 2018, 2019, there was a movie that was created called The Last Ship that was depicting what would happen if a virus would come out. And then unfortunately, we see the news that someone has contracted a disease on a very big yacht on a cruise ship. And then people started to die, and then there's going to be a lockdown of people on that ship. And then this spreads out. And then in 6 months, it spreads out to Africa. So it's the same with tech, that there are things that are happening in the developed world that even right now we have no knowledge about, or if you have insider knowledge of them, you start to implement. So people like me usually, because of the groups I'm in with people like that, we'll see something, we'll mention it to a few friends, and there's a friend of mine called Keron, who hosts the Big Conversation podcast, And I was telling him right now, most creators should focus on YouTube. And he's like, when you TikTok, and I'm telling him, from what I'm seeing, and the news has come out, but YouTube is making more revenues, that those two guys, Sergey and Brin, who created Google, are very smart. They're like one of the smartest guys in the tech space. And they made it in such a way that what they've observed is that there are going to be more people opening up podcasts. There are going to be more people paying attention to YouTube. And I'll tell you why. There are going to be more people leaving TikTok. There are going to be more countries that are going to ban platforms like TikTok. But also Zuckerberg is not sleeping. So he's made it increasingly difficult for agencies, for example, to retain clients. How? Right now, there's an AI agent that you can build, ChatGPT, that you will train on how you run adverts, okay? Whether you're using custom tools, how the advert is going to look like, how the caption should look like, how the images should look like, how the video sensor should look like, when the advert should be optimized, and then if sales start to trickle in, how should you optimize it for more sales? An AI agent can be built for that. That means that I don't need to pay an agency $90,000 a month as a retainer fee to do the work, and to have a $20 subscription on ChatGPT to do the work. There's a software right now called Sean that can do exactly what I've said, that you can open up an account for free. There's another one called Lexi AI, that's Lexi AI, that can do the same job. But of course, theirs is about premium pricing.
Isaac, you're taking us too
Yes,
fast.
I'm coming back. So why I'm saying this is because there's a rumor that he's going to buy one of these companies and incorporate it in Facebook. That means, as a business owner, I don't need to hire an agency to do what I call micro-targeted, helping out the business manager and things like that. Because of knowledge like that, I will share it in the community and say, guys, learn this stuff right now. There are those who pay attention to, normally the 1% who say, I'm going to get in there, I'm going to buy it, get a life subscription or any subscription. Then there are those who say, my clients want to use TikTok, or my clients want to focus on B2B LinkedIn. Now, also because of that, we usually say that you don't need to force people to adopt technology, right? All of us have a timing when we adopt things. There are early adopters. There are those who may not jump on the shit at that particular moment. But what you have to do is evangelize the news to them. This is happening. Get on board or get kicked out.
On that point, this is happening.
Yes.
Is that patriots are the listeners and masters of this podcast? They're young, they're interested.
Yeah.
But where are we? Because you hear this idea, from what you're saying, we are unfortunate, but then there are creatives in this country. Say a lot of businesses don't make it to 5 years of their birthday. But so what are people solutioning around? It's not within tech.
I would say follow the basics. In this case, the most popular platform that we all know right now is ChatGPT. There is a mistake that we all make when I speak to this platform. I am Isaac, and I'm interested in creating for me a script for a podcast. That is very wrong. Now, they say that a messy prompt will give you a messy output. What we should understand is AI has always been in existence. It's now that it's talking market to us that we're paying attention. Alexa has always been in existence. Our smartphones are built on AI mathematical models, but we speak to them as though we are speaking to a friend. Create for me this in 1,000 words. The correction should be create for me this in 1,000 tokens, and not words. So we use words, or create for me a picture, not a picture, pretty this kind of image or token. That way, it understands what you're trying to achieve, as opposed to you saying, this person is just looking for it. Because when you tell it what to do, it will give you what you're prompted. To answer your question, I would say let's focus on the basics. And this is usually where the difficulty is. We need to invest in these platforms. If something is for free, you just know that you're a customer. They're using your data.
When it's Isaac's, and I'm still thinking about that listener, is young, they're tuned into this podcast, and they're thinking, are those things for me, or they're just for Muzungu, Facebook, Zuckerberg?
Yes.
Bring it down to, let's say, other innovators, because we want to make it relatable.
You just need a smartphone. I'll give a basic example. If I spend $20 on ChatGPT and subscription a month, this is what I would do. Beyond just going there and asking it or prompting him, how am I going to make back my money? Right now, there are companies that are hiring AI engineers or prompt engineers. You don't need a degree. You just need to know your stuff. How? On ChatGPT, majority of us are used to texting. as opposed to speaking, which is one area. So if I were a creator, for example, in Kampala, and I wanted to target CEOs who are looking to create or market a campaign for a company, a product or solution for a year, I would go in there and say, one, I need to create a master prompt. So I am the CEO of Next Media or NTV. I'm looking to create a marketing campaign. My target in terms of revenue for the year is $5 million US. I have 100 employees. I have 50 employees. I have people who are certified in marketing, sales, and system and operations. I'd like you to create for me a master prompt on how you'd actually ask me questions based on the responses you're going to give me on this. So that is the first thing. You want to create a master prompt. Now, when you've created a master prompt, the other thing is you want to create a system prompt. The master prompt is not the result that is going. It's going to ask you certain questions on revenue. What kind of KPIs are you looking at? On marketing, what kind of KPIs are you looking at? What objectives? It's going to ask you those questions. I would like you to create for me a system prompt for the output that you've just generated. That is to say, the master prompt is understanding you as a person, the personality. The system prompt is understanding how it's going to respond, right? Now it's going to present for you a detailed response per item that you've discussed. Now, okay, this is amazing, but I'd like you to customize this in my tone, in my personality, and I'd like you to include this information in both the master and the system prompt. Now, in the paid version of ChatGPT, there are things that do not show you, like customization. So when you pay for a subscription, you go to settings and go to personalization. It will ask you particular questions. So explain, who are you as Isaac? Now, here's the trick. Do you know that if you have a LinkedIn account, you can actually go and download a summary of your entire profile? So you don't need to describe to it who you are. You just upload that PDF. This is who I am. In terms of language and tone, I'm someone who's calm, I'm someone who's collected, I'd like to speak softly, I greet people, I respond to, you describe it, and say, now input this in, both the master and the system prompt. Beyond that, now that you've reached there, you say, okay, this is excellent enough, but I'd like us create this output in a canvas format. Canvas meaning that, have you ever spoken to these LLMs and they'll present for you an output, then you have said, but this is not good enough, re-edit it. Then it creates, you want to avoid that. So when you say create for me this in a canvas format, it's going to create two screens on your phone or your PC. Now what those two screens are doing is that on one side you have your canvas, on the other one you have the prompt outline. Now you can actually edit the output and say, this is amazing, but add this. So what it does is it doesn't recreate another output, it edits what it has already produced for you. And then you say, now this is amazing, can you share this in PDF format? And that is how you're going to do it. Now what you have created is an entire marketing plan, because remember you're asking about a marketing plan. So it's going to be a more refined marketing output as opposed to someone who's getting 12, 15 outputs from one prompt. And this is something you can sell for as little as $50 as a service to that. And you don't stop there. In your paid version, you can actually create what you call custom GPTs or custom AI agents. You could go in settings and say, I want to create an agent. Again, upload your LinkedIn profile, describe who you are. Then you can actually upload information about what you do. I'm the creator, the video editor, all these things. I'd like you to create for me an agent and we'll create it for you. As simple as that.
Every time we bring on guests on the podcast, because they are so brilliant, my mind buzzes, buzzes with all this information that takes me through the week, and I'm so knowledgeable because of what I've heard. Because Isaac here is also a teacher or lecturer at Victoria University. He teaches science in AI. He also made a curriculum of AI for Sorority University. So you can see he just wants to teach. He's systematically a teacher. But we wonder for the locals. We know you're an innovator. You've created your own GTPs. Can you tell us about that? But also, who else is in the ecosystem?
I would like to say the ones that I know about 5, is AI Studio Uganda. There's a gentleman called Nexa. Nexa AI was also created a chatbot around how to help businesses get sold. There is another gentleman, but there are about 5 people. I'd like to think that number is going to grow. Now, because of information we've shared like this today, a lady who wants to go and do retouch on her hair is going to save that 60,000 and get access to ChatGPT Premium. A guy who wants to go and do sports betting or go and buy a gin or go and buy this school big or breakfast for his girlfriend is going to save that money, because at the end of the day, you need to figure out how do I earn from the platform. So for the local people, I would say it's anyone with a smartphone, right? It's anyone who's curious, because if you have a smartphone, most of you are not using social media, and social media is using you. That you're doomsday scrolling every day, laughing and tweeting and not. Then at the end of the year, the goals that you set in January are not even 1% close to where you are. And you feel ashamed. So the best thing that you can do is farm engagement. Wear shops cut, dance on a camera, and the guy says, "Hi, how are you? I'd like to meet you. Meet me at this hotel. Give me 1.5 plus an iPhone." That's how people are also earning from. So it's not just about earning from one. People are also earning from dancing on this platform. Yes. But there are people that you would also say that are in the space are the regulators, right? They're trying to understand two things. How do we control the narrative? That's one. Two, how do you create guardrails that are able to ensure that there is income generated? And also, how is that income taxed? It's another thing that I know, for example, the banks, Stanbic Bank right now, if you're going to hire a creator, you need to have a team. They're not just going to give you 10 million shillings cash without asking if you have a record of paying taxes, right? So there is that there are platforms like Uganda Digital Society that are making it not compulsory, but very well to share information about this kind of things with creators, because I've seen people on X saying that people are getting paid, but how? It's knowledge, right? People are not willing to share this information and are thinking that if I go and engage on the president's tweets and I'm going to get engagement, if I engage on a celebrity's tweet, I'm going to get engagement. At the end of the day, I'm going to get paid. I'd like to also think that the rules are going to change. That it's not just about how many impressions you have. It's going to be the barometer of the impressions. Yeah. Do you know that right now, if I'm in a group of about 500 people, WhatsApp, I can tweet someone, get a link on a tweet, share it in that group, and then you go and retweet, and I'll count that as engagement. I get paid. I'm not paying the people who have supported me. So it's also going to be about that. I believe there's going to be a lot of shadow banned accounts because your engagement is revolving around a specific geotagged place, specific IP address, and specific community. And these guys have the algorithms. To answer your question, yes, it's someone with a smartphone. It's the partners that have come on board creating the companies, but also the regulators who want to ensure that much as we are pushing out information out there, you've heard of deepfakes. That day, Sudhir was a victim, but his video was being used to promote crypto. And he came out to say, "It's not me, guys, it's not me." Investors were, so you want to run, it's not me, guys. You have to come out and say it. That we need to regulate how that is done. And then how do they organize that this is an AI for good? An AI for practice.
Thank you, Isaac. I think we must appreciate you, especially for these new paradigms that people hardly can understand, contemplate, that you're out there training people on how to use these things. For example, I am one of your beneficiaries. I heard you once on a webinar I was attending with, I think, the Uganda Digital Society. And I remember noting down things and writing. I write. When I want to learn, I write. You were talking about leads gorilla. If you want to contact people, this is how you find them. And we're already doing that in our 9 to 5, but we thought this would be helpful. So we want to thank you for continuing to mentor people, because it's through this knowledge, people are powerful to be enabled to, at the end of the day, contribute to the middle class economy that we all fought for. Now, still in your trainings, I wonder, because you've already given us some nuggets on how we are using ChatGPT, Ubongo, or all those LLMs. But what are the opportunities now that you see and you're really annoyed that we are not tapping? We're not leveraging, yes, they're really in our faces.
So one of the things that really pisses me off is that as a country, and it's just, I think, the culture, we adopt things very slowly. I say this from experience. I was consulting with a gentleman about education space. This is freemium education. So schools like Andrew where you pay $1,000, $2,000 a term for a kid. So when they finish, there are universities they want to go to. These are Ivy League, Harvard, the Harvard's of this world, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And that is his market, right? So he had the Ugandan branch, the Kenyan branch, a Rwanda branch, a Tanzanian office. In the Ugandan office, we remember, these guys will come to work at 10 a.m., switch on the TV, turn into Netflix, they don't want to move. Yet they have been to events where they were getting names on pieces of paper. So he asked me, what can I do? These are my friends. I'm like, that's your first problem. You mixed business with friendship. So I hired a girl. She would just finished education at UCU. And I said, I just wanted to pick those leaflets where they recorded names and keep them into an Excel. Then we got a tool called WhatsApp. So there's WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a platform not many people are leveraging right now, but has the highest return on investment.
Yes. It has the highest
Return on investment.
consumer in Uganda's social
So
media.
what send is about $19 a year, it's about 60K. So we open up an account, we pick that list, we sent out an ad on WhatsApp. They received it because it was personalized, right? We received 50 people. We cannot pay it. And that's 50 million shillings alone in consultancy. And this was me and the girl doing the work. The rest of the guys didn't know what was happening. So they've come to speak to us. 50 million in his bank account. The ones who paid about 10. So for each student that pays tuition to these Ivy League universities, he gets about 20% commission. So you can imagine, if someone is paying $15,000 in just one term, that's huge for him. So he called me to a hotel and said, in a week, you made me about 80 million shillings. It was there about. Those guys have been with them for a full year. I've just been paying their salaries. What is the problem? I say, this is just one country. Let's explore FSMEs. So we go to Kenya. He had employed 19, 20-year-olds that just finished. They were joining university. When I entered the office, these guys were out there. Things move in Nairobi so fast.
Yeah. It's amazing.
If you wake up at 7, you're actually late. Very late. And I love their Uber and Bolt. I love how they respond. If you order an Uber and you're 2 minutes late, they'll leave. Here, the guy will wait for you. Why? You leave a call, you leave a text. 2 minutes, you're late, they're gone. I woke up, it was a very huge apartment, just behind State House. And I first thought to myself, no, I first thought, has rapture happened? I'm not seeing people on the street. Like, the apartment is quiet. Like, as the security guard, they asked me in Kiswahili, are you Ugandan? I just knew. I knew immediately where the problem is.
That tone.
Yeah.
Are you
in Kiswahili, are you Ugandan? So I get on the road, I order for a Bolt, get to the office. Meanwhile, I observed something very funny. I don't know if it's happening to date. Their taxis don't stop. They just slowly jump off, you jump in and proceed. I'm like, which couldn't taxis park for 1 hour just waiting for one person. And then the guys always jump out. You get so pissed. They stop, and I'm like, wow, I was impressed. So I get to the office, guys are already seated there waiting. And I take them through systems and processes, AI tools on how to acquire and generate leads. Yeah. We did that for 3 days. We generated 2,500 leads just using WhatsApp. They still have they had list of people here. Because the 2,500, 100 people were able to pay consultation. Of the 100 paid consultation, 20. I told him, I think I know what the problem is. It's a mindset that the guys in Nairobi are not so fast because they want to learn or anything. It's the environment, it's the economy. Things are so exorbitantly high there that you want to grab every opportunity that you have to learn and be able to survive. Here, you wake up, you eat a Rolex or 2K, baby's big eggs, and you're okay. You wait for tomorrow, right? It's a difference. So I think the environment is also to blame for that. But why I say that it pisses me off is because I have friends from these other countries that you train. I did a training for about 50 people in different countries, and out of the 50, 90 were in Nigeria. The other 10%, 5% were from Kenya and other countries, and the balance 2% were Uganda. The guys are all implemented, even started their companies. So that's one thing for me that I think has really let us down. The other thing that has really pissed me off is the regulators. Rwanda is the other day signed a contract with OpenAI and TikTok as well to allow their creators use these premium tools at a no cost. TikTok and Rwanda have signed an agreement for their creators to earn. The president says, come into the country, what are you doing? I like this, make it happen. Here it's a conversation about, okay, he's in a meeting, we need to wait for him, write a letter has to be approved. need to go through like a personal assistant. Like, it's so annoying.
And then they ask you, oh, can you reschedule?
Yes. And also what you should notice about this is the age gap. The minister who's advocating this in Rwanda is not even 30 years of age. The people who are in the board meetings here are probably thinking,
It won't
it won't work. Yeah. But we're the same people saying unemployment is high in the country. We're the same people pushing down proposals. Okay, so that for me is, and people don't want to come out to say this, but it's so annoying that on one hand you're advocating, on the other hand you're pushing down.
Yeah.
You see,
I personally am a converted. Like I was telling you earlier, in my 9 to 5, we use AI, at least in all the tools and software we apply. We're such a lean team, but the amount of work we do, people can't believe it if you tell them the number. But it's also amazing to see how much there is that can help you supercharge your work, be more efficient.
Yeah.
And it's also available here in Uganda. Earlier on, you were telling me about Namibia being quite far in this AI space. And I'm not surprised Rwanda and Kenya are early adopters. And we can see that also in their economy, in their youth, because youth are the ones like the Patriot who have the smartphone, can access the internet, and are curious, like you said earlier. So then what are the opportunities, apart from the things that are no use? I like how easy you talk these numbers, because I know you've helped quite a number of organizations move sales from this number to 1 billion, or sales from a specific number to numbers they have never heard about. But just with the simple tools, in just a minute, in just a number of seconds, minutes, right? So are you telling people to chase away their stuff? Restructure? What's the advice and opportunity? What should they leverage right now?
I believe, and this is because I've served now with boards, right? Boards will give an opportunity. There is something called team building, which I don't think they do very well. I think it's a waste of money, if you ask me. That money should be diverted to training.
We do it team building in my 9 to 5.
Team building does not achieve what it's intended for. And that's because traditionally, team building is you met to gel, you eat maize and stuff. Better. But a team building should be competence building, if you ask me. It shouldn't be let's go out, nice place, do exercises, push ups, sit, eat, review our company goals. No. What competencies do we have now? And Nike has done this very well. Do we have now that we think are going to be non-existent in the next 3 months? And then, who do we know is in the market can provide us with those competencies for us to survive and thrive? That should be what it's about. So, yes, I've consulted with people, and I'll give a typical example. Up for a Christmas campaign, right? You could get access to 99 tools for a cup of coffee, just $5. And then this CEO responds and says, I'm interested, but I would like you to come to my company. He's a major dynamic. He runs a labor export company. He was spending, I believe, about 25 to 30 million a month on the TV station. I don't to follow me back home, chimney on the gate, but he was mentioning that amount of money, and I could see the veins popping out. And he said, Isaac, how can you help me? So I said, let me look at your funnel. He said, what is that? He didn't understand what I was talking about. So I said, how do you market to these people? I said, I invited him from the TV station, the radio station, record his staff speaking about what we do, about taking people to the Gulf countries, and that is it. They air on the TV and radio. And I said, how about online platforms? Have you tried to leverage them? I said, we boost posts. Wow. How much have you spent? He had spent above $9,000 in 3 months. Results? We're interested. Where are you located? Silence. And I said, have you tried using an AI? And he said, those are foreign things. And I said, okay, if I were to help you, this is how much I need, and these are the results you expect, right? So I was talking about Sean.io. So we went to Sean, he had a website. I added the website into the platform, and it gave me a description of who he was, but also the people he will be targeting. And I told Sean, I want you to create for me a story. Because the thing about Sean.io, for example, is that you don't need to have a background in learning how to run ads on Facebook.
Yeah.
Simple plug and play. Add in my creatives, next. Targeting, just choose a location. It will tell you, based on what we see, the target audience of 18 to 65 is wrong. Let's focus on 25 to 45. They'll do that for you.
Which is amazing.
Then Facebook won't work. Let's try Google. Or Google won't work. Let's try Meta and Instagram. They will suggest for you.
Yeah.
Then the last thing is just to put in your credit card details and click start. That is it. Yes. So when we did that, the first 50 responses were interested, so I paused the ad. Now, every time you're running a campaign online, you could choose. Do you want people to send people to the website? Do you want to send them on WhatsApp? Do you want to send them to Messenger? So what I did is I tested 5 places where I wanted people to go. One was the phone. So I would say, call us now, this number. 2 was WhatsApp us. So instead of sharing the WhatsApp number, I would share a link to the WhatsApp account. 3 was send us an email. 4 was fill in this information on a form. So there's a form that, are you familiar with Google Forms?
Yeah.
So I would recommend that. I would suggest something called JotForm. It also has an AI tool. So you can go in there and describe and say, I'm this kind of person. I have a creative business. I do podcasts. I'd like you to create for me a form for my guests to create the form for you automatically.
Because normally you put it in ChatGPT and then copy and paste the input.
Now with JotForm, you can actually send a link of that form to your audience. They fill in the form and automatically you'll see responses on email, but also to automatically create for you a report that you can look at.
Yeah.
So we did all those. And we realized that most of the people who were asking me questions were going to the JotForm. So it had things like name, phone number, email. Have you flown out of the country before? Have you worked in the Arab region, in the Arabian Gulf? Do you have a passport? Do you have a yellow fever card? Asking, do you have a sponsor? All those questions. If you didn't have a sponsor, we get for you one. How many installment payments? We asked all those. Someone said, this is too long. We said, no, we want to get the cream of the cream. We spent $1,000 and got over 3,000 pre-qualified leads. 100 were paying clients. So if you do the math, you're paying about 2.5 to travel, multiply that by 100 people. You made a profit. Yeah. You see that? After we did that, I remember the marketing manager did show up the next day and the day after. Because now the question was, you've been spending about 30 million a month getting us crickets. This guy has paid 3.7 and has made us a profit. Where was the problem? He's a friend of mine. I would say his name, but he didn't show up. Yeah. Then we went into a consultancy agreement for 6 months. I said, I think your staff are now well equipped to do this. Yeah. But again, the human brain is that when you see new information, it's hard for you to consume. You're used to stuff you're used to see. Yeah. So again, I had to go back and then I told the bloke, it's a back and forth. Let me just change the team and go. So I left him at that. So the opportunities are there like that. And here's something I tell people that the first thing I did when I was broke was I went to Google and said, how do I make money online? You do the same with AI tools. Which AI tool can I use to create this? You're talking about adverts on Instagram, pay $24 and get certified in AI. Are those the only AI tools that I can use? I'll give you another tip. Let's say you wanted to create a pitch deck to an investor to invest in your business, or you wanted to create a pitch deck to someone who is in a C-suite, CEO or CMO, to interview them such that you can use their content and create bricks of content for social media marketing for their personal branding, right? If I went to Google, I'd say, let me typically use a tool like ChatGPT. I'd say, I'd like you to create for me a pitch deck. I am Aggie. I am the founder of On Uganda podcast. I'd like you to create a master prompt and a system prompt on basically what kind of questions I would ask them and also what they would expect. Then create a canvas format. But after doing all of this, create for me in a slide format, a pitch deck of 30 slides, right? Of what I would do to convince this person. And in each slide of that pitch deck, I'd like you to give a summary, sort of an insight, a golden nugget of what is in the slide. Because these are busy people, they don't have time to read. And then I'm going to go to Google and say, what pitch deck software can I use to create this? They'll give you a couple. I would recommend Skywork.ai, right? Mm-hmm. When you go to Skywork, upload this prompt from an LLM like ChatGPT, and say, so Skywork has a menu of items that you can either use for building a website, doing an audio pod. I was amazed that day I talked about digital marketing and they created for me a podcast for 1 hour of people talking about digital, not me, talking about digital marketing. And the voice was almost similar to mine. I was very scared. But if I went to Skywork, I said, this is the prompt, create for me 25 slides. It's going to create for you a pitch deck that has creative, that has infographics, that has numbers, that has even your picture. If your picture is on Google, it will pick it out. And you download it, and that is what you're going to use. Now, you created a pitch deck from ChatGPT, whether free or paid, and you're sending this out. Then the other thing that you need to do is now reach out to people. So with tools like I showed you, like PMS utilities, that if you wanted contact from people on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, is give it direction to say, I'm looking for a CEO of a manufacturing company on LinkedIn. It's going to give you that data set. I kid you not, the numbers are accurate, which is a scary part of AI, which I'll talk about. Then what you do is you just send them first a connection request, because you don't want to get stuck with how and where did you get my number. So send a guy a connection request, and when he asks, you could say, look, I'm Isaac, I'm a creator, and I believe I could add value to your personal brand in a way that could actually increase, one, clients for you, but also bring leads for your business and position you as an authority in your space. Would you be interested in a pitch deck for free? I would like to share with you. Who's going to say no, right? And all you need to do is about numbers. So if you have 100 people in your result from BMS utilities and you shared that pitch deck with 100, all you need to do is close 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
And those are good for retainers as a business. So imagine you did this every month. You're going to have 48 clients in a year. Now, I've simply gotten that prompt, gone to Skywork, it has gotten me a pitch deck, I've gotten that data. If I'm good at sales, I've gotten revenue.
Knowledge is power.
I have not paid any money.
So, Isaac, you have spoken about all these opportunities. They're immense, right? But the patriot is probably wondering, these are so many, but there must be challenges or bottlenecks they can't face along the way. Can you highlight those bottlenecks?
So one of the biggest, if not the biggest threat that we should pay attention to is data privacy. I wouldn't want someone calling me and saying, I got your number from an online tool. I'll be scared.
You hear that all these ride-hailing apps, they sell our data to third parties, they sell our data to different organizations.
So there is actually a solution for that. That if you have a computer right now, I would actually recommend that you install something called CC Clean. So what CC Cleaner does is every after a working day, wipe out every that particular key second, whatever, it wipes out.
A lot of time.
The reason is that you realize that it will show you the results that in a day, typically if you're very busy, you'll have about 20,000 cookies.
That's true. 20,000?
Yes, about 20,000. That tells you those are 20,000 people who are harvesting your data.
Yes.
And if you're very keen, go to your email, if you're using Gmail, or go to the spam folder. Ask yourself how they're getting your data to send you that information.
The patriot must be thinking, why? What does it matter? So what if they have my data?
Because your data is being sold. You should participate in the profit of your data being sold. So say this, if your data is being sold, it means you're the commodity. So why am I not getting those profits? I use CC Cleaner every day to clean my Adobe Return from things like that. On our smartphones, and I'd like to put this on record that our smartphones, I've told you PMS utilities, I get my data from Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and LinkedIn. It means our data is already being sold to these people.
Yeah.
PMS utilities, data vendor, right? Now, what that also means is that I've got to figure out if these platforms are not safe, then what is safe? So there are things that are called over-the-air apps. So an over-the-air app is a tool that can, with technical expertise, I can get into your WhatsApp and read even deleted messages from a year back. Yeah, people are doing it. So I did research and figured out Telegram is not safe, Signal is not safe. So what is safe? So there is a software called Threema, that's THREEMA, that is used by security forces in the US, the UK. So I talked about the Black Ops, the Special Forces, Army Rangers. They use it to communicate when they're in the field. So if I want to know what is happening in Iraq, Baghdad, and someone has a WhatsApp number, I can actually read. People don't know this. I can actually read what's happening. With Threema, I can't hack the account because it's not a geographically based system that is there. It is satellite based. And you just can't hack into a satellite anyhow. Just like you just can't hack into the NSA servers anyhow. There's layers of firewall that you need to go through. For as low as $5 a month, though they have free accounts, for as low as $5 a month, you can communicate with your spouse, your friends. Slack is another app which you can use to communicate. Most people use it for projects, but you can use it to communicate between people. What that means also is that our data is being sold. Even the prompts that we're putting in, they are creating a data point. Every time you ask something, that is a data point. It's creating a profile, an online profile of who you are, that then this person is going to use to run adverts to target you. Give us about 2 to 3 months, you're going to start seeing ads on ChatGPT. The same ads you see on Facebook are going to be seen on ChatGPT. Why? Because they need to profit out of these platforms.
Yeah.
So they figured out for you to start running ads, you need a base of about 100 million people whose data points you have, such that you're able to target them. Now, when you have that base, it's then easy for advertisers to say, this is the kind of client we're looking for. So that's the biggest thing that I believe, and we don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
It's just my data, but you're not safe. You see that? And ways we need to do that is to be able to regulate ourselves on personal data. When I'm home, I'm not online. I put my phone in airplane mode. That means you can't listen to what I'm watching, or you can't listen to my phone conversations. But in case someone wants to share something sensitive with me, send it on email. So someone will send me an email and say, I sent you a WhatsApp message. I'm like, I can respond in the morning.
Yeah.
Send me an email because I can't respond with WhatsApp. Even the people that I teach or work with, I tell them WhatsApp is not safe. They don't believe me until you've had cases where accounts are hacked and someone no longer has ownership. That's because you shared your information on these platforms. You have a MacBook, cover your mic, cover your camera.
Yes.
Someone on the other side is installing remote access trojans or rats in your PC, and they may not use the data now, but they're observing or listening to every single thing you do.
Scared.
And later on, these are the people you see on Instagram. He has a plane, he has a Bugatti, and you don't know what he does for a living. But this guy is sitting on his laptop, and he learned these things from YouTube, and is profiting from them.
What do you think the future looks like?
I think it's going to be scarier. Like you said, when you asked the question of are jobs going to be lost, jobs are only going to be lost by people who know what to take initiative to learn, right? The reason Facebook, the reason in Google, the reason X, and also I think it's Beeper, the new company by Jack Dorsey, former owner of Twitter, the reason they're letting go of people is not because they realize the faster way to doing things. It's because those people have not taken initiative to learn, such that they're in the conversation in the boardroom that we need this person. And I challenge people every day. If you're comfortable with where you are right now, there's a problem. You should ask yourself, or do what you call a life audit. I do what I call zero-based thinking every day. I wake up and say, what can I do different today? I'm in certain communities, marketing communities, and I'm thinking, people always sharing, attend this event, attend this event, attend this event. But in that community, I know there's someone who's struggling with something. So what will I do? I'll do the unusual and say, guys, if you want to do a pitch deck, here's a software for you. Or if you want to do this, learn this, and then I'll leave. And the universe has a way of returning back that favor. Because people call and say, I know a guy who's doing this, I've recommended your number to him. So when you start to think about it, when you're doing a business audit, you figure out that you're doing less of running adverts or joining networking communities, but because you decided to let go of and transition knowledge to people in the community, the universe is responding back and saying, here's a much bigger effort. You're making the world a better place. So here are people I believe that you can actually make their lives better.
Yeah.
That is how I think I've been able to empower the people that some may not be able to pay for my fees, but in a group, I know that there's people who are struggling. So what will I do is I'll transition the knowledge to them, even if I know that they'll not use it now. But they'll remember and say, Isaac shared something with us. Or I may not have the qualifications or certifications to do a certain course, but I know that this guy is in this group, he'll share something with me. And I'll do that. Because the unfortunate thing that happened way back was that I've had 3 car accidents. And the first one put me in a space of depression. My girlfriend at the time left, got married to some other guy with the gomasi that I had bought for her, the earrings I had bought for her, and I saw this on Facebook.
Oh no.
I'm in a bed before I'm going to the operating table, and you see that.
Oh no.
The thing that I wished for was I hope I would never wake up.
Oh, what?
Yes, because at the time, guys do this, you invest it, you buy this, you pay tuition, you do all these things. I just prayed that I would never come out of the operating theater.
Oh dear.
And so you go in at 6 a.m. because they tell you the day before not to eat. And then you wake up at 6 p.m. and you're like, how did this take so long? And you feel a certain burning sensation on your throat.
Yes.
And the doctor says, we actually lost you. We had to resuscitate you with oxygen. And in your mind, you're like, okay, did God say you're not yet done?
It's never that deep.
Or because your wish was not attended
Yeah.
to?
Yeah.
So that gave me hope. I went through a year of pain and depression,
How did you recover?
Support, family, and my ex at the time. She was there for me the time. God bless her soul.
Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we had for this conversation. Thank you so much, Isaac. All right, our very last question, Isaac. Are you ready? We have our rapid fire question where we ask every guest on this podcast rapid fire questions, top answers that come onto your mind. One, what are the things we're already doing in Uganda that will help us achieve a middle class economy? And then the second is, what are the things we must stop today because they won't get us into the middle class economy?
Investment.
Are we doing the investment?
Yes, we're doing, but at a small scale. We need to scale it up. Two, we need to increase the number of, or the, and not just the number, but the categories of people we're training. So we have focused on university students. We're not going down to the senior for the senior one, the nursery. We need to go to the grassroots. And then three, we need to be a faster. I would say we are implementing at the turtle space. How about we give ourselves time and say, can we do this yesterday, or give ourselves a week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Things we need to stop.
Blaming each other. He created this, I lost my job. Poor mindset, believing that the government is to blame for everything. Three, I think it's how we have positioned ourselves in the bad way. If we are to proceed and work as a country, we need to have a national policy on image. Image is not just created by one individual. If all of us are complaining, we are both communicating to the world that not to come to Uganda. You see that? So there should be, yes, there's freedom of speech, but there should be freedom of creative speech.
Well, that speaks to everybody. And that is a good way to end. This message goes to everybody. Positivity on the internet space, especially promoting Uganda. So I hope every patient can get one thing that can help us achieve a middle class economy by using AI and helping it work for you in your businesses so that we can all thrive when we're at it. So thank you so much. See you in the next episode.